What is up, everyone? Welcome to Book of Boba Fett Episode 2. Fett and Shand interrogate a captured assassin who claims they've been hired by Moke Shaz, the mayor of Mos Espa. Now, Shaz denies this, but offers payment to Fett for capturing an assassin and suggests that they visit the sanctuary again. But the star of this episode, guys, is how well the flashbacks has been done. And not only that, but the meaning behind them. The flashbacks with the Tusken Raiders give us some major Dances with Wolves vibes. It's a chance to learn about the Tusken Raiders and see them expanded upon, far from the films and the books, and the Mandalorian series. Now, Boba Fett was always an outsider. When his father died, he went on his own, not with a clan, unlike other Mandalorians. This is why, in that series, we learned that while Boba Fett is the most famous Mandalorian, he actually isn't one of them at all. So while this episode confirms it, and it's canon that Boba Fett wears Mandalorian armor, yes, we all agree, but he's not a Mandalorian. It was pointed out in the second season of Mandalorian that Boba Fett isn't a Mandalorian by birth and doesn't meet any of the criteria needed to be called a Mandalorian. Then there's a quote from the show between Boba Fett and Bo-Katan where she says, "You're not a Mandalorian," and he says, "Never said I was." He's even more of a Tusken Raider than he is a Mandalorian. And in this episode, we actually finally learn that underneath his garms and his clothes, wears that black skirt and the black robes, it's actually Tusken. And the train heist, guys, was pretty good. It was a nice action set piece. He's clearly managed to become sympathetic to their problems. They never sort of bothered anybody, or never went into the towns or the cantinas. They just wanted to be left alone. Yet the guys on the train were basically shooting them for sport. Boba Fett is informed that the two of Jabba's cousins, pair of Hutts known as the twins, want to claim Jabba's thrones for themselves, and they arrive with the Wookiee gladiator and bounty hunter known as Kristan. And he tries and sort of intimidates Fett, but he refuses to kind of submit to it. He was first featured in the Marvel comic series of Star Wars Darth Vader and is actually currently appearing in the ongoing Dr. Alpha series. Now, considering this is a Dave Filoni show too, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some more well-known bounty hunters. We kept seeing foreshadowing to Bosk, who became a fan favourite after his snarling, "I can hear you" grunt at an Imperial officer in the Empire Strikes Back film. And he also featured in the Star Wars Clone Wars series too, but he worked closely with Boba Fett. Yet the most deadly Star Wars bounty hunter in its whole lore was never in the movies. It's actually Cad Bane. The deadly, no-nonsense and always dangerous. He's like the Lee Van Cleef of the Star Wars universe. And he holds his own battles against Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he even captures Ahsoka Tano too. It would be great if he played some kind of part in the live action series, and we haven't kind of really seen him yet, so I'm holding out that he's going to be a part of this series too. But the tribe was attacked by the Spice Train, and funny, they actually called it Spice. Again, another nod to Dune, which Star Trek sort of came from. But we did see the Pike Syndicate. Nice big Easter egg there. So what are the rest? The Hutts twins and cousins were hired by the Order of the Wind Assassins, which is tied to the Crimson Dawn, the syndicate that Darth Maul and Kira sort of tied with. Ludwig Göransson, who did the score for this series, Black Panther and The Mandalorian, he included the Crimson Dawn from the theme of the Han Solo movie, and that was really nice. It also sets up for us to see Kira in the comics. We met her 10 years after she betrayed Han Solo, and it showed that while she's still an integral part of Crimson Dawn, as well as the stealing the carbonite frozen Han Solo, Kira has crossed paths with Boba Fett and Leia Organa in the comics as well. So there's kind of a 20-year gap. I know, Han Solo was shot 20 years ago, where we are today. So Kira is at least going to be a sort of older, more mature version. And Emily Clark has done that with Game of Thrones. So I'm hoping that they really do adapt her. Don't be shocked if she turns up in the show, guys. But this episode was all about Boba Fett becoming a Tusken Raider, even though they were transporting a narcotic spice. He tells them that they must pay a toll for the Tuskens for passing through their territory. Now, the Hutts and the Pikes are off-worlders and apparently have no respect for the natives. Again, another Dune reference. But Boba is taking a different approach, which could unite the locals in support of his rule. This is inspired again by Dune. The Tuscan ceremonial dance in the episode's conclusion is likely inspired by Morrison's Maori heritage, which he said he was incorporating that into the character in The Mandalorian. And one of the best known aspects of the Maori culture is the haka, a traditional dance most famously performed by the New Zealand rugby team, the All Blacks. Now, this one, guys, is a solid 8 out of 10 for me. Really enjoyed this episode. The forging of the Tuscans' gaffe stick is kind of like the Jedi Padawans making their lightsabers. Apparently, word that Luke Skywalker killed Jabba's Rancor failed to spread around, since the assassin freaks out when he's dropped into the empty den. I thought that was a nice little touch.